The Glock switches, yes, we have been running across those like crazy. And for those that are kind of confused, what exactly a Glock switch is, it looks like a little block, and it goes right on the back of a Glock handgun, and it just kind of protrudes a little bit. If you weren't looking for it, you may not really notice it, but it does. It turns a Glock into a fully automatic gun. You just hold the trigger down, and it just lets go of all the bullets. Whether they've got a 30-round mag in there that's extended way out like a goofball, or they've got just the standard mag, but it'll go through all those rounds in just a couple seconds, if not faster than that. So they're bad news, and they're very hard to control if you're not an experienced shooter. So they're bad news right now, and and these kids, they don't realize they don't realize the extent of the illegalness of them, because they're so easy to get a hold of, like you was talking about, the 3D printing. Now, Shawn, have you guys run across any 3D printed guns, like fully printed guns? Is that a thing yet?
Yeah, it is. They're all printed, but what happens is they don't last very long because the material that they're using and stuff they come across. But you can usually get a couple of shots out of them. What we're seeing a lot of is just 90 percenters. The AR-15s that are 90% done. You just got to put all the pieces on and drill a couple of holes, and now you have an AR-15. Same thing with a lot of the pistols, the ghost guns. You basically they're selling all the pieces to it, and you have to do a little bit of milling work because you have to drill out a couple of holes. Once you drill out those holes, now that lower receiver is now a handgun. Now it's supposed to be registered. Now every lower receiver has to be registered from law, but they've got away from that by selling that piece because it's just a piece of metal until you drill the holes out. Then it becomes a firearm. So we're running across a lot of Glocks, not a Glock, but a lot of ghost guns that are out there. Some are made very well, some are made very poorly. Sometimes they malfunction and blow up. But there's one thing they all do make, and this goes to the crime of intelligence side of it, is it does make a distinguished mark on the breech face of every cartridge case that is fired. So it makes it unique to that gun. So that's what helps get it into the NIBIN system, and what our system we'll talk about later about. But it makes a very distinct mark. It's like a fingerprint. So these guns, even though we can't trace them because there is no serial number on them, we can connect them together by the cartridge case. But we've seen a lot of ghost guns being out there because people are realizing that, hey, listen, if I get somebody to buy it for me, that's a straw purchase, that's a felony, I can go to jail. But I can get this gun, make it myself, and there's no way to trace it. They can just throw it away. I mean, you find a gun, you can throw it away, and guess what? You can't trace it. You won't know who ever got it. So that's the scary part right now, is because they're doing that with the AR-15s, they're doing with handguns. Those ghost guns is something that they're going to have to figure out. Just point out, ATF does not develop laws. We don't write laws. Congress does. Congress writes the laws. ATF enforces the laws, and I think that's where people get confused a lot. That we're out there making up our own laws. We don't. We don't make up the laws. The Congress sets the laws from the Gun Act of 1968. That's where it all stemmed from. So, as an ATF agent, we enforce the laws that are put on the books by Congress. So, and they're going to have to figure something out to do with the ghost guns. Is my point.
Yep. I was gonna ask you specifically, why do they call it a ghost gun, but you you cleared that up right towards the end there. They're just untraceable guns. So if you're wondering the shortcut for people listening, but okay. So since you guys are both ATF and you're retired, so now you can be fully honest with me. The pistol brace versus the regular stock versus the pistol grip, all of these, what I like to call subjective bullshit things. As the person that has to enforce some of this stuff, like, what is your guys' opinion? One, of these new laws that they're trying to get by on this, and then two, can you, as what I would consider a firearm expert on this stuff, explain like how the AR-15 and then your regular hunting rifle, those are basically the two of the same exact things, except one has a wooden handle on it and the other one it's all black and tactical. air quotes. So I want to go down that that rabbit hole. Now that you guys are retired, you can say how you feel. Don, let me hear, man.
Yeah, I mean that the whole issue with the pistol brace, ATF foobarred that up big time. I mean that was something that they tried to get ahead of it. They tried to really say, okay, this is when it first came out, the idea was this is for individuals who are disabled. They can't hold the gun, with two hands. They don't have the strength to do it. So we're going to come up with this brace that you can put on it, and it wraps around your arm sits in it or wraps around it, so they're able to actually help support it and fire it. Then it turned into, now we're going to make those illegal. Then we're not going to make them illegal. And then the brace was not supposed to be shoulderable. And then there was a whole thing as well. If you shoulder it, now it's an illegal short barreled. But if it's only for a short period of time, you fire it once or twice, then you take it back out, you're okay. It was so thin veil of what could make somebody illegal or not illegal with their gun. If they bring it up to their shoulder,